The subject of history is the life of peoples and mankind. Man lives consciously for himself, but serves as an unconscious instrument for the achievement of historical, universally human goals. History. The unconscious swarm-like life of mankind uses every moment of a king's life for its purposes. Power is a word the meaning of which we do not understand. He, executioner of the peoples, assured himself that the goal of his actions was the good of the peoples. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. If we admit that human life can be ruled by reason, then all possibility of life is destroyed. Writing laws is easy, but governing is difficult. Where there is law, there is injustice. There are two sides to the life of every man: his individual life, which is the more free the more abstract its interests, and his elemental swarm life, in which he inevitably obeys laws laid down for him. Human science fragments everything in order to understand it, kills everything in order to examine it. All people seem to be such soldiers, saving themselves from life. Millions of men, renouncing their human feelings, had to go from west to east to kill their own kind. So that's so-called heroism. And what harm had he done with his dimple and his light blue eyes? You say, I am not free, but I have raised and lowered my arm. Everyone understands that this illogical answer is an irrefutable proof of freedom. How often we sin, how much we deceive, and all for what? All will end in death, all. If everyone fought for their own convictions, there would be no war. You can love a person dear to you with a human love, but an enemy can only be loved with divine love. The kingdom of God is within you. All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life is made up of light and shadow. The whole world is divided for me into two parts. One is she, and there is all happiness, hope, light. The other is where she is not, and there is dejection and darkness. Everything is empty, everything is a deception, except this infinite sky. There is nothing except silence, tranquility. When in doubt, my dear fellow, do nothing. There is no greatness where there is not simplicity, goodness, and truth. A man on a 1,000-mile walk has to forget his goal and say to himself every morning, today I'm going to cover 25 miles, and then rest up and sleep. Every man had his personal habits, passions, and impulses toward goodness, beauty, and truth. The hardest and most blissful thing is to love this life in one's suffering. How can one be well when one suffers morally? Only a person who believes God rules over us can endure such a loss as hers. The strongest of all warriors are these two, time and patience. Man cannot possess anything as long as he fears death, but to him who does not fear it, everything belongs. If there was no suffering, man would not know his limits, would not know himself. He had learned that, as there is no situation in the world in which a man can be happy and perfectly free, so there is no situation in which he can be perfectly unhappy and unfree. Pierre was right when he said that one must believe in the possibility of happiness in order to be happy, and I now believe in it. Let the dead bury the dead, but while I'm alive, I must live and be happy. Seize the moments of happiness, love and be loved. That is the only reality in the world. All else is folly. It is the one thing we are interested in here. We are asleep until we fall in love. Everything I know because of love. As long as there is life, there is still happiness. The best stories don't come from good versus bad, but good versus good.